So yeah, what was it you wanted to bring up?
I was just going to ask if you have ISTJ interactions and trying to compare that with the ESFJ. They're both SI, but if it's different with FE and TE, if it makes it more palatable for you to have a.
Yeah, well, I think in my case, anytime I struggle with any personality, it's easier if they're an introvert because it's not so much in your face.
True.
So like even like ISFJs I usually get along with really well. The only times ISFJs get on my nerves are usually like online, like on Facebook, because then I get to see like what's really on their mind in ways that I don't in real life. So yeah, and the same thing with ISTJs. Like if I'm thinking of this one ISTJ guy that I know at church. We get along fine whenever we see each other. But just like sometimes we'll be like in an online conversation and we just won't see eye to eye. Like we'll just be talking past each other and like he'll, it's usually him saying like, why even bring up this issue or why are you even going down this path? Because he's already made up his mind about the topic, and I'm trying to give like an alternative suggestion, like trying to process, like analyze the topic, and he'll just like kind of accuse me of like of thinking too much, or he'll accuse me of making it more complicated than it is.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's funny. I have an ISTJ brother-in-law, and his mom is ESTJ. So I'm like surrounded by STJs on the other side of the family. And my father-in-law is ISTP. And he's the odd man out, because there are these two strong SJs that he lives with. And so I was just curious if you'd come across that and how that looked, because I think that we make assumptions, at least I have made the assumption that sometimes sensors communicate more comfortably with each other. And that's not always the case. If that thinking is directed differently, you're going to come at it from different angles, and that will clash quickly. Yeah,
and I guess it just depends. It depends on which, like, if there's a greater divide in one of the other dichotomies, like J versus P or E versus I. My best friend growing up was an ESTJ, I think. And my only issue with him was just like he would just talk all the time, and he would just nonstop talking, not let me get in a word in edgewise. It might have been just might have been a TE thing, like he just had like so much on his mind, like constantly his mind was constantly going and saying,
how they think.
Yeah, we got to do this, and we got to do this, and we do this and that and this and that. And it's like okay, I wasn't paying attention. So yeah, ESTJ, ESFJs. That's usually it. Like they're just constantly going at whatever is on their mind. Whereas the introverted SJs, it's usually when I see them in person, very little words are exchanged. We're just kind of friendly, like just back and forth. Oh hey, how's it going? Oh yeah, I'm doing fine, and then we just kind of go about our own thing.
Have you ever asked Jeff that question about SJ? Yeah, extroverted SJs. Has he ever done a video with an ESTJ or a ESFJ?
I know he's done a group chat that involved an ESTJ just recently, and I actually haven't watched it yet.
I was wondering if there would be any clash there.
Yeah. I know he's done ESTP. What other extroverts did he? ENTP. He's done a few ENTPs.
Those are hard for me to watch when they're both extroverted like that.
Yeah.
There's not like I have to do it in breaks because I want to watch the whole thing. I find it interesting, but it seems like they get each other's volume up.
Yeah.
They start talking over each other. It gets a little loud.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I should need Jeff here. I need to tease him about that.
Oh yeah.
I bet he would have been excited to be in a group of 4, but have more vocal power.
Yeah, it's funny.
Sorry, you cut out.
Oh, was I cut out?
Yeah. What'd you say? It's frozen.
Yeah. Oh, okay. See, I notice when Jeff's talking with like extroverted intuitives, like half the time they're both talking and not talking about the same thing.
Yes, yes, that happened with the ENTP. I saw that.
Yeah.
That's I think another reason why I probably have to take breaks, because my brain is like trying to connect it all.
Yeah.
I should probably just watch their body language and not try to follow everything they're saying. But I think that's also hard for me. You know, I want to understand. I'm paying attention. Do you try to follow what they're saying, both sides?
I guess it depends on what they're talking about. Like half the time, a lot of I notice a lot of Jeff's interactions, they're just really talking about nothing. Because it's more like he's the one who just kind of said, okay, let's just talk about anything. I'll just talk with anyone about anything, and those I actually honestly I tend to skip those.
Yeah, I just go through them. And are we on air right now?
Yeah.
Okay, then I will reserve what I was going to say. I skip through it too.
But I see it as like anytime we kind of like joke and make fun of people that we know, it's like we know that it's all type related, and it's like we know that we're different types and see things in different ways, and it's like we don't think badly of any other types.
Yeah, I hope so. I think when people are new to it takes time for them to come to that understanding. It's like either they're really, really careful and they don't say anything, or they are very, oh, I just hate such and such type, and this drives me crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they need to spend some time on the forums, and they'll learn.
Yeah.
I appreciate all the dynamics of everybody.
Yeah. I've had to explain myself to ESFJs that I don't mean anything bad by my dear ESFJ series. Like, I'm just having fun with this.
Yeah. People commented. They've asked you.
Not too often, but I've seen it. Like they think, oh, this guy needs to get over his ESFJ issues, or like
they don't see it as a joke.
Yeah, they see it as like genuine complaints, like
oh, that's sad.
Yeah, but it's like
very funny. They're very funny, but I think it's only because I understand like what you're talking about. I think if I didn't, I would probably wonder, wow, he's got some anger at this person.
Yeah, I mean, and the way I see it, I wouldn't even have these ESFJs in my life if I didn't appreciate having them in my life.
Yeah, you would just eliminate.
Yeah, I'd have no trouble doing that at all.
Right. I think the ESFJ series is probably, I don't know if you're on the Facebook groups of other types. Are you only on NF Geeks? Because they have like an ESFJ forum and an INFJ forum. And I like visiting them on Facebook because they talk about what's happening on NF Geeks, but just amongst their own type. And so they tend to speak more openly of what they really think. And I find that really fun. So it would be interesting if you ever had one of your videos posted on the ESFJ forum.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I bet a lot of them would misinterpret, because especially if they don't know me. They wouldn't know why I'm posting it.
Yeah. No, I think it's actually for somebody who's pretty self-aware. Like, is it RD93? Is that the name? He's an ESFJ that I think could probably watch it and be like, oh, I know I do that, and I'm sure it drives people crazy and doesn't take it personally. And I felt that way. There was a video done by an ENTJ talking about Seth Johnson's INFJ door slam video. And he was critiquing how immature INFJ door slams are. And there were lots of people like talking about why we do it and very defensive.
Dope. Uh-oh. Well, I guess you're back.
It's my phone. It's just really slow. I have to like go through a zillion things to get back. Okay. Anyway, I was just saying that most of us are at that point where we can say, ooh, that hurts to hear, but it's true about my type. From the ENTJ. Now you're frozen.
Oh, am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Okay.
Did you see that? Did you see the ENTJ video?
ENTJ video? No.
Oh, okay. I'll have to send it to you. He was
Okay.
giving feedback for people who do door slamming
Okay. Uh,
in
but yeah.
ENTJ fashion.
Yeah. Um, well, yeah. I mean, we recognize that every type has their faults, and like you were saying before about RD93, she's actually commented on my videos and said she appreciates that.
Oh,
Yeah, she does recognize herself in some of them. She appreciates the humor in it. Um,
that's great.
yeah. So I'm actually hoping to do an interaction with her sometime.
I hope you do.
Yeah.
I feel like I could watch her a lot. Like there's things,
Yeah.
because we're so different and yet we have extroverted feeling together, I find that I enjoy listening to her speak because she's coming at it from another angle but kind of with the same goals of what I have. So it's fun. I hope you do. It'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah. And we kind of talked about it a few months ago, and I know she's been unavailable at least the last few months, but yeah, I think that'd be kind of fun.
Did she do one with Jeff?
Not that I know of.
That would be interesting.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because that would be the full-on SISE difference too. I'm grateful that when I listened to Jeff talk to, who was it? There was a NT that he just spoke to, and it was all about socionics. I'm just really impressed that Jeff can just talk to any type, and I think that is true of ESFPs. You know, they might not go on as long with certain types as others, but they are initially just comfortable with everybody. You know,
Yeah.
I admire that.
Yeah, because they're totally comfortable just being themselves, no matter who they're talking to.
They're not trying to gauge anybody, or maybe is that an introverted thing that we have to gauge people?
Maybe. Well, I'm not gauging people. I just.
So that's FE.
I guess I sort of am. I'm gauging the experience. Like what do I get? What do I get out of this person? Like I don't try to gauge like where is this person coming from. It's more like what are they talking to me about? And yeah.
And do you? It seems, I think, ISTPs, that's something that J's probably have to adjust to, because we are more agendized and we kind of come looking for certain things, and ISTPs are very open and receptive and not agendized. Like, it doesn't seem like you ever have your heart set on anything happening in any given moment. Is that true?
Pretty much. I mean, I think, for me, it feels like it's more experience based. Like, I feel like people are unpredictable, and so I go into a conversation not knowing what it's going to do, and so I'm just kind of open to whatever's going to happen. And like, if I don't feel like I'm really getting anything out of it, or the other person not getting anything out of it, I'll just try to find a way to end it. And,
yes.
Yeah. Whereas if I know the person and I know that I've really enjoyed talking to that person, I don't know if I would necessarily like seek them out. Well, maybe I would. I don't know, because I still, even then, I don't really think about what I want to talk to them about unless I have like a question or something. Like, even when I was setting this up, I had a general topic in mind, but I didn't have like specific questions. I didn't have like bullet points or anything.
Yeah. I noticed that with my brother when we would get together. We both kind of had that just open, okay, whatever happens, wherever this goes, whatever. And that doesn't happen very often for an INFJ. I don't do whatever a lot.
Oh, okay.
Break. Like, it's a nice break, because it's not the status quo. But I think we both can, there is eventually like that tension of me saying, okay, so now I'm going to have a plan, and him saying, okay, oh, there's a plan. Well, I don't need to be restrained. I'll go back home and do my own thing. So I think that when you have a lot of perceiving, like my INTP and my INFP brother, when they get in a room, they're both really relaxed if I'm there, because I'm kind of like drawing them both in together. But if I leave, they'd both probably just leave the room.
Yeah.
Do you experience that? Is there anybody that's like a connector that you probably couldn't talk to that person without like a buffer?
I wonder if that's an FE thing, because yeah, I've seen INFJs do that, but I've also seen ESFJ, like my ESFJ friend, she does that a lot. Like when I'm at church, if we're all like, if a bunch of us and mutual friends service together, like I'll only go and sit with them.
Okay. Can you hear me? Sorry, you're frozen.
I'm going to get a cable. Oh.
There you go. Not yet. Darn it. Sorry.
It does it twice. Like it comes back and then freezes again.
And then you're good. You're back.
Yeah. So, I was talking about the ESFJ friend. If there's like a bunch of us, a lot of times we'll sit together in church, but I'll only do that if she's there, if the ESFJ is there, because because I don't really know the other people that well.
Yep.
And it's more like, yeah, she is the connector between me and them, and it seems like an FE thing. ENFJ, same thing.
Yeah. I think I'm grateful that there's certain personalities that appreciate that and will necessarily utilize it when I'm in a group. But I have found that there are definitely other personalities who don't really appreciate my desire to draw them in. INTJ comes to mind. So when you are done, that's the trick. Like if I'm trying to keep people connected and my INTP husband is done, he feels comfortable enough to be like, well, see ya, and just go get a drink or leave. Do you ever feel stuck if you were drawn in by the ESFJ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, like, if there's no gap in the conversation for me to do that, just say like, okay, well, I gotta get going. Usually, I'll do like, I'll look for a gap, and then like maybe 5 or 10 minutes go by, and like, oh, they're just kind of going off on this whatever they're talking about. I might do like, I'll like look at my phone, and go, oh shoot, I gotta go. Even though my phone's not even on.
I think I could take some tips from you because I have a hard time leaving conversations if I'm done and they are very engaged. That FE makes me like tied to the spot. And so internally I'm like in agony because I really don't want to be there. But
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have a choice.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how. And so I come home and I'll be like complaining to my husband, oh my gosh, that was so hard. I needed to come home. I had to get out of the conversation. He's like, just tell him you gotta go. Like it's so obvious. Like just tell him you gotta go. I don't know how you guys do it. That makes it tricky.
Yeah.
Are you?
Okay, it just maybe
There's
like.
Now we have to wait for it to freeze a second time.
Yeah. I learned it just recently. Like, maybe we're talking about maybe a year ago. I was in that situation, and I kept thinking, okay, when's this conversation gonna? When am I gonna get to say like, oh, it's time to go? And I think it was after that, that one night that I thought, I should have just said, oh shoot, I gotta go, or something like that. And
you just made up your mind and you just started doing it?
Used it ever since.
That's great. Okay, starting today, I'm going to practice. Well, we're having a lot of freezing. I should probably. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think next time I'm just gonna like try to use plug in a cable or something instead of use the Wi-Fi.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if that'll make a difference.
Well, let us know if you hear from Jeff. Hopefully you're
okay.
Jeff.
Okay. Yeah, well, thanks for sticking around. I think this is, we've been talking for like almost an hour and a half. I think.
It was fun.
Yeah, and I just realized this is the first time I've ever talked with you on a video chat.
Yeah, that's strange. That's very strange.
I mean, it's like, yeah, I've known you for like over a year now, and guess
yes.
what? Guess who just joined us?
Hey!
We were just kind of wrapping up.
That's so funny.
I figured I would try just in case you guys were still going.